Hello teachers. In this video, we will be talking about PPAT Task 2 Assessment and Data Collection to Analyze and Inform Student Learning, Step 0 and Step 1. First, notice that there are tabs that have your pre-assessment data. Remember, on our first day in class, you filled out a Google form about your knowledge on the 4 domains: planning and preparation, classroom environment, instruction, and professional responsibilities. In step 0, this is where you're going to write a narrative based on your work in task 1, knowledge of students and the learning environment. This information will also be able to be used for task 4. You will only have to write step 0 once during your internship. Then you can copy and paste it into your subsequent tasks. Our first text box, you're going to select a single assessment. So as a team, you should think of a creative way to collect data to assess your students. This can be through a performance assessment with a rubric. If you wanted to use electronic means such as Quizlet, Socrative, Quizzes, Kahoot, to get data about how much your students learned about your lesson on your particular domain. You'll notice that text box 2.1.2 talks about preparing the learners for the assessment. There's been some confusion about this. You will be using activities and groupings during your lesson facilitation. However, during your assessment, it's up to you whether you have students work in groups or work individually. Text box 2.1.3 is about the 2 focus students. Choose 2 students that are not in your domain that you could modify your assessment for. Not modifying the instruction necessarily, but make a change to the assessment. In past semesters, satellite students were often chosen as the focus students because they still did take the assessment. However, it was administered in a different format. Notice the information that I have highlighted in yellow, and please ask questions as you read through the steps of task 2. There is a self-assessment for the assessment that you develop. So if you're using some type of electronic version, please make certain that you have your questions ready to go, not just on the electronic device. And for your narrative self-assessment, copy and paste that information. So here you'd have a link to your assessment, have the standards that are being addressed, and what the learning goals of the assessment are. Your baseline data is right up here. You can have a link to it, and then have your rubric or scoring guide. Thanks for listening, and questions are the answer.